Cami, thank you so much for joining me today. So we wanted to do something a little bit different, which was to sort of introduce each other to our different audiences here. So right now, we're going live inside of both of the private groups that we run. So why don't you start off, Cami? Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm actually going live from my RV, Magic Mike, and started traveling the country just recently and spreading the word of charitable real estate. There is a secret real estate niche that is funding nonprofits by the billions and paying real estate agents a full commission to list and liquidate the donations. And that's what I'm traveling the country to teach and train about.
Very cool. Yeah, well, excited to talk more about that. Let me give a quick introduction myself since we're sort of meeting each other's audiences today. I'm Nick Niehaus. I'm one of the co-founders in Business Video School and the head trainer. And we teach real estate agents how to communicate through video. I think a lot of people see video as a marketing tool. It's an incredible marketing tool. We're going to be talking today about how you can kind of combine what Cami does with what we do to brand yourself super strongly. But video is a form of communication. So there's a million different ways you can use it. Every additional way that you can start utilizing video in your business is probably going to change the way your business works for the better. So we can talk more about that as we go here. So that's just kind of a quick overview. Obviously, we're going to be probably interacting a little bit more with each other's groups in the coming months here, Cami. So why don't we sort of dig a little bit more into what you do? So why don't you tell us a little about your background and kind of how you got into this charitable giving stuff?
Well, thank you for that. And one of our favorite mottos is do what you do best and refer the rest. And, you know, even though I jump on video and I'm pretty fearless about it, I know that our people in our group could certainly use your help to be more professional in positioning themselves with video. So I have a history with real estate. I was in real estate, top 5% for 15 years. I was a prospector. I called expireds and for sale by owners back in the day. And over the years, I bought a 64.5 Mustang convertible and ended up doing car shows and giving the proceeds to local charities to help promote my business. Now, this was long before, I'm dating myself, but it's long before we had a video capability on our cell phones. But I was promoting and doing what I now know as being socially responsible, cause marketing campaigns, et cetera, et cetera. And over the years, I started teaching people how to partner their for-profit with nonprofit. Make money while you're making a difference. 87% of consumers will choose you when you're socially responsible and doing the right thing. Well, about a year and a half ago, I was at a conference. I'm a consummate student and I love to learn. And at this conference, I heard charitable real estate. And I said, what? Real estate? Charitable? Donating? And what I learned was there's really, really big reasons why none of us have ever really heard of this. At the end of the day, even though the nonprofits, the average amount from a charitable gift of real estate is $550,000. But the reason most of us haven't heard of it is because of the 1.3 million nonprofits. 99% of them won't take a donation of real estate. They just can't. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the expertise. And even if you, a consummate, real estate expert of 30 years are on their board, it takes money and backing. You got to pay off mortgages and it can be very complicated. So when I learned about this, I also learned that I needed a third party specialized nonprofit to facilitate the transactions. So instead of getting all boring with the numbers and how it all works, suffice it to say, there's no risk to the nonprofit at all. Real estate agents we work with get paid a full commission guaranteed to list and liquidate the donations. And the donors get tax benefits that they will not get any other way, one of them being no capital gains tax. So I love, Nick, that you and I are coming together to partner and help teach these real estate agents about charitable real estate because they step into the advisory position when they know the secret niche that's funding nonprofits by the billions and no one else in their marketplace knows how to do it. We just need your video skills so that we can position ourselves to partner and promote in the best light.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, I think a lot of agents a lot of people don't understand positioning, right? They don't understand this idea of sort of carving out an image or a niche for yourself and sort of being a certain kind of agent, somebody that really appeals to a particular group of people. And one of the things about charitable giving or focusing on nonprofits is it's very wide, right? It's a very large, most people care about some form of nonprofit or another. And it sounds like, this is sort of a very untapped opportunity, right? So talking more on the video side of things, because obviously we want to bring that into it. We focus on, really helping people start with video at the very beginning, right? So starting super simple, not editing their videos, not using elaborate equipment or cameras, because there's really a use for every single kind of video. So I wanted to ask kind of your take on that is you've worked with a lot of agents to help them position themselves this way and start utilizing this incredible opportunity. So have you had any agents that have done much with video? I know you do a lot with video, but have you had anybody that sort of has used that communication tool to sort of position themselves this way yet, or any case studies you could talk about?
Absolutely. And I love that that's your positioning, to start with Facebook Lives and not worry about editing. As a matter of fact, you and I were introduced by Ren Nix, and she's one of our up and coming superstars.
Yeah.
And when she and I spoke about she's doing a 100 Days, 100 Heroes series of
Right.
interviews, interviewing all kinds of people. And I told her, I said, you can make video and edit and all that, or you can do Facebook Live, and I'll give you my input on it. I said, it's my experience that anyone who tries to do all this fancy video and edit and all this stuff, 3 months later, 6 months later, nothing's been done because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming the video to begin with. And now they're looking for expensive lighting, and now they got to find a editor. And before you know it, they just give up. So I'm so glad to hear that this is your positioning, because anyone that I work with that doesn't have some big fancy, camera crew, when you do Facebook Live, it's done. The minute you hit end, it's already done. It's out there, and you can save the video, and now you can go edit it and put it fancy on your YouTube channel, but at least it's already out there. And the way that Ren Nix is doing her campaign, just like a lot of my other folks around the country, when they are doing these Facebook Lives, in her case 100, some of our guys and gals are only doing 30 days, but everyone that they interview, part of the deal is, look, mortgage person, I'm interviewing you today. All we're going to do is agree to share each other's videos. Tomorrow we're doing the title company. The next day we're doing the veterans nonprofit. The next day the kids nonprofit. The next day the dojo owner. In other words, when all of these people are doing Facebook Lives, whether it's on one person's channel or on each individual, when they're all shared, that's how tens of thousands of people get to know each of those businesses. And guess whose face is right in the middle? Yours, whoever it is that's doing those interviews. So it's a free, easy way of building relationships and resources and rapport and being relevant. And that's where the revenue comes from.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people, it's one of those, like, it's very easy to make it complicated, right? It's very easy to overthink it. And, we spend a lot of time helping people understand that, you don't have to be that creative, especially when you're first getting started. In fact, I think a lot of creativity, a lot of the more polished videos, the more elaborate stuff that you might see other agents already doing, they've been doing this stuff for years. They kind of worked their way up to that. And you don't need that, right? And I think that, what you're getting at, and I agree with the live video. Live is super easy. It's very straightforward. It doesn't require, it doesn't require too much planning. I do think there is, it'll go better if it is planned out a little bit more in advance. But I do think that's a good point that we just need to be putting out the message, right? And I think that's where, when you interview other people, and I think that's one aspect of how you approach this that makes a lot of sense. When you interview other people, you're not the focus of the video, right? So you don't have to be as worried about how do I look and how am I going to appear and sound. Plus, you're automatically, whenever you're highlighting someone else, people are much more open to that, right? So if you almost can find somebody that can say good things about you and then you say good things about them in exchange, like, people are going to be much more likely to listen to that message because it's not just you self-promoting. And so I think that's where you can see a lot of people sort of get this benefit of, hey, I'm supporting nonprofits, I'm supporting these positive missions. And then people think of you with all of those positive feelings and intentions and everything there. So if you were to talk to some of these agents that are getting started, like maybe some of our students that are learning to make video, but they are more curious about finding ways to sort of position themselves better, what are some good first steps if they want to? First of all, I mean, how do they work with you? But also, just what are some of the first few things that they should do, in your opinion?
Well, even before I found Charitable Real Estate about a year and a half ago, when I was teaching for profit to work with nonprofit, I've always said it's been my sneaky way of tricking my clients into getting out there and being seen and being heard, because so often people have a really hard time talking about themselves, promoting themselves, talking about what they do, or, you go to the networking events, whether it's physical or virtually on Zoom, and they if they do start talking about themselves, they start getting into salesperson mode, and they get kind of icky and salesy and tongue-tied about it. But when people are talking about what they're passionate about, and especially when it comes to the animals, the kids, the veterans, the environment, like their church, or whatever they're really passionate about, when they can talk about that and get themselves out of the way, the beauty of it is, instead of talking about yourself, you're talking about what you're passionate about. But guess what? Now people get to know you. Now they're not meeting your icky salesperson representative. Hi, my name's Cammie Baker. I'm a real estate agent. I sure would love your referrals. I give the best service in town. Nobody wants to meet that person. They want to meet the person who says, hey, my name's Cammie Baker. I'm doing this car show. All the proceeds go to the Live and Let Live farm. We're rescuing horses, 358 of them. We save from slaughter every year. And the thing is, we want people who have hot cars and love hot cars and have businesses you want to promote and want to show up and play with us. Come talk to me afterwards. Because when you're talking about something you're passionate about, now people actually want to talk to you. I actually talk about it in my book, Mingle to Millions, The Art and Science of Building Business Relationships. We meet all these archetypes when we're out. We meet the person who's given a card to everyone, or if it's virtually sending you their digital card, they're spraying and praying their contact information like a skunk, and it's rather repelling. And then there are those who are grabbing contact information from everybody, whether it's a card or grabbing it off the Zoom. Those are the ones that are squirreling contact information away so they can blast people with stuff. And then there's the sharks, hey, try my product, join my business, sign my contract. So if we don't want to be a skunk, a squirrel, or a shark, how about being a spider and being very strategic and creating this net web of connections? Because a spider doesn't hunt or chase. It sits back and waits for what it wants to come into its web, which is exactly why you and I are doing this video right now. I have a beautiful community of people. Nick said, hey, Cammie, you need to meet Nick. So as I sit back, all that I want comes to me. Now, don't get me wrong, the net web needs to be maintained, and we're always building relationships. But the point is be strategic, be smart. And when you're using video and you have someone like Nick that can help you really look as professional as possible. Like, I'm in my RV right now. I just got it 3 weeks ago, and I'm still playing with getting a studio put up in this small space. But at least I don't have beer bottles and pants in the background and garbage cans and dogs barking or whatever. In other words, you do need to pay attention to how you're being seen and received, and Nick can help you with that.
Yeah, and I think that, that's the thing about video, and I think that there's a lot of ways you can communicate these messages to your audience, right? I mean, you could start blogging, you could be posting on social, posting quote graphics, things like that. But what we've found and what the research definitely indicates is that when it's a video, when it's actually you talking to the camera, therefore talking to the people on the other side of the camera, it has a stronger impact. So what we find is, for instance, there's a part of the brain called the fusiform face recognizer or something like that. But it's basically dedicated to recognizing human faces. And so it actually lights up when it sees a person's face. And so when we make a video and we're in that video and those people are watching us, I mean, our brains cannot understand that it's not a person sitting in front of us. Like, our brains only recognize face-to-face communication. We don't actually, fundamentally, we didn't evolve with video as a form of communication, right? So that's where I think you take all this to the next level, is that it's one thing to put all this out just as, hey, I'm doing this thing, here's some posts about it, maybe even blogging. But what we've seen, especially with what Ren's doing, is that when you make it a video, now hundreds and maybe thousands of people potentially are having an actual conversation with you. So everything you're saying to them is not just something that they're kind of passively consuming. It's something that they feel like they're actively having a conversation. That's why you get a lot of responses. You get a lot of comments on videos, because when people respond, they respond as if they just had a conversation, right? So we see better conversations. We see more of them. I think Ren got like literally hundreds of people reaching out to her just after one or two videos about what she was doing. So yeah, I think that's where, we want to help people sort of take that next step, because if you assume everybody is saying something meaningful, which they're not, absolutely. But if you were to assume that, and we were to get to that point, the people who are saying it through video are automatically winning, because they're having more meaningful conversations with people. And I think that's where, sort of combining these two things is super powerful. So, Kami, I know we didn't want to be on here too long, but I did want to ask you another question here, which is, what do you think? Show me kind of like, what does a progression look like here, right? So you get an agent in, they decide, hey, I want to go into this, charitable giving niche. I want to focus on this stuff. What is it like to work with you? What are the options, and sort of what can they expect to see happen over the coming 6, 12, 24 months, so to speak?
Sure. Well, the very first thing to do is to take the certification class. So we are certifying in Charitable Real Estate Specialist. So the first thing is, if you don't know what charitable real estate is, we're kind of dead in the water. So you have to do that first. We just did our last one yesterday, and we do them every 5 weeks. So certification class is 3 or 4 hour live Zoom where you learn how this whole thing works. Now, once we take the certification class, now it's time to learn how to implement, because at the end of the day, just because you know what it is and how it works, now it's time to start talking to people. So, to your point, talking about video and how people feel very engaged and it released dopamine and makes them feel really good about meeting you. Well, what do you do with that? So now that Ren has hundreds of people asking her, what are you doing? How can my nonprofit get over $500,000 from one donor and no fundraiser? Hey, I want to learn more about this. Well, now it's time to start having, bigger conversations about what do you do next? How do those nonprofits actually talk to their donors and introduce them to the concept? How do they start engaging about donating non-cash assets? And by the way, nonprofits who accept non-cash assets grow at 6 times the rate. I just did an interview on video last week with Dr. Russell James, who did a study around this. He studied 1.1 million tax returns of 200,000 nonprofits and proved that when they are taking non-cash assets, including real estate, they grow at 6 times the rate. So we teach them about all of that. And then after the certification class, the first step is getting into the group. So Charitable Real Estate Specialist Mastery Membership. Now, for us, what we're doing right now is very similar to what you do. There will be a monthly membership fee moving forward, but right now it's a one-time fee for lifetime access until we get all of that set up. And every week we talk, and I'm doing a 30-day challenge. I just started that today. So everyone who's in the membership mastery is part of this 30-day challenge. And we talk about who to talk to, what to say, how to say it, how do you follow up, how do you send video messages through Facebook private messenger to engage with people. What is it about the body language and the tonality? Are you setting intention, paying attention, creating retention? We have all these frameworks that we teach people to learn how to implement this. And one of the best tools that we have is I do the interview with them. Real Agents of Change interview series. I'll do a 10-15 minute interview, teach them how to put it on social media, in an email, in a press release. Let everyone in your marketplace know that you are a charitable real estate specialist. We have ways of helping them be seen by every area has 1,000 nonprofits. Shoot, Florida has 500,000 nonprofits in that one state. How can you be the go-to person that all of them want to work with? And it's not just about the donations of real estate. All of those nonprofits have volunteers and staff and supporters, and they're all buying and selling and flipping and investing in property. You can be the go-to realtor because of Charitable Real Estate, but to help all of their people for all of their real estate needs.
It's great. Yeah. Well, so it sounds like, yeah, there's a lot of great opportunities here, obviously. And I think, we'll continue to have this conversation and sort of help each other, share the knowledge and the understanding in terms of what people should be doing. So I think we're going to be getting together. We're still working on the details, obviously, but we're going to be doing a little bit of a video challenge inside of your upcoming 5-week course, or your 5-week certification. Sorry. So is that one already started, or did we kind of figure those details out yet?
Well, because we just met, we decided we were going to start, you and I, in the next 30-day challenge.
Right.
So the next one starts actually March 16th is our next certification class. And then the 30-day challenge starts on the 17th. So you and I are going to implement you into our 30-day challenge, whether it's a 3-day or a 5-day, whatever you and I decide to do, because that's super important. We go through the 7 P's that I call it: purpose, presence, positioning, partnering, promoting, payoff. We go through all of that. But when you have an expert to help you show up powerfully in video, your presence, who you're being from the inside coming out, feeling very confident and feeling like not only do you believe in charitable real estate, but you believe in how you're showing up in the video. You having that presence helps you to position. And at the end of the day, if we want payoffs of income, influence, inspiration, income, all that fun stuff, then we need to promote. But let's not promote by ourselves. Let's have partners to help us promote. But before we can ask for partners, we need to position so that when they Google and creep on us to see who we are, they see that video. They see you being professional and showing up powerfully. And that's why we are having you, Nick, to help us in our next 30-day challenge to get that positioning and presence really solid.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Cool. Well, I don't know if you have any final thoughts for us, Cammie, or if you maybe want to share with us how some of our students could be getting involved. There's a place to contact you, or website to check out, and maybe we'll do the same for Business Video School.
For sure. So, join the Real Agents of Change. It's our Facebook group. The Real Agents of Change, you'll see all kinds of videos in there to help explain a little bit more about this. You'll meet people like Ren Nix, who's already becoming a charitable real estate specialist in her marketplace. And, when you get involved, we will give you the recordings of the last class we did, so you can start understanding how this works leading up to the next class. And when you're part of the membership, you have lifetime membership to all of our classes. And here's the beautiful thing about this: our partners, our specialized nonprofit, the 501c3 that we've partnered with, we have agreed to give $1,000 bonus on your first sale, your first charitable real estate transaction, $1,000 bonus on top of the full commission, being certified and having this big check to give to nonprofits. So it all starts with joining the group, and please feel free to reach out to me. I'm real, I'm raw, I'm relatable, and I'm reachable. And I guarantee you I will respond to you within 24 hours, because that's the way business people should treat one another.
Love it. All right, cool. And I guess just do the same for Business Video School. I think the best place to start with us is to actually go over to our website, bizvideoschool.com, which is bizvideoschool.com, and check out our free video lessons. So basically, we've created a series. I think we've got almost 40 total video lessons at this point. They're all free. You just got to give us your email address and we'll start sending them to you. They range anywhere from about 1 to 7 minutes in length. So think of these as really, short, bite-sized kind of little lessons you can watch. Typically in the morning is when we'll send them to you. And it's a great place to get started and sort of get a sense of, are there things out there you need to be learning about video? And then once you're through that, we'll give you plenty of opportunities to come in and actually get enrolled in the school, which you can also do at the website there, right? So if you'd like to check us out, again, it's bizvideoschool.com.
Well, I just think that this is a perfect partnership. It's a strategic alliance, as my attorney would say.
Right.
we simply help each other. We're such a complement, just like any, real estate coach. Any real estate coach would be smart to partner with you because their clients show up more powerfully on video. They'd all be smart to partner with us because philanthropy, why wouldn't you want to have a charitable real estate division? Cred. Do you have your credibility?
Love it. Cool. All right, Cami. Well, that's all I think we have for today. I want to thank you so much for doing this with me. So hopefully some of our students on both sides have gotten to know each of us a little bit better. And just so that everybody in the Real Agents of Change group understands what's going on, we're going to be sharing some of our video lessons over the coming weeks so you can start checking them out. But at any time, you want to jump over to bizvideoschool.com and get registered. We'd love to have you. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks for doing this, Cami. Appreciate it.
Same here. Bye-bye.
All right.